That's right. You read that title correctly. This is a Kagurabachi review video. We're going to start discussing the latest chapters of Kagurabachi on this channel. Heads up though, I don't know when I'm going to drop these videos weekly, right? You know, typically when a manga drops, YouTube creators or creators in general, they try to drop the video as soon as possible. I don't want to do that with Kagurabachi. I think I simply want to enjoy the chapters as they come to me naturally, right? I don't want to wake up every Saturday or Sunday or, you know, Wednesday just looking for the leaks, looking for when the chapter just gets translated. No. I think I'm just going to take my time with this. So if you're here just for Kagurabachi, that's why you're subscribed to me. It might not be the best idea, right? If you want like a weekly source, I'm not exactly the best provider in that sense. You know, I'm just here to ramble, give my thoughts on the latest chapters. And I do want to throw this out there, but I'm not well-versed in Kagurabachi. As much as I love the series, and I'm currently on my second, 2.5 read-through of the series, I'm still learning a whole bunch. I'm still nailing down a lot of the plot points and the characters and etc. So if I do get something wrong while talking about the series or the latest chapter, please let me know down below. You know, there's no one that dislikes being wrong more than me, right? Like, so if I get something wrong, please just tell me. I will correct myself ASAP, or at least in the next video. But yeah, with that being said, I'm just here today to yap about the latest couple of chapters and whatever piqued my interest, and I just gotta start with Chihiro versus Samura. Because that fight, man, one, it's kind of needless, you know, low be it for me to say, but I think there could be like a middle ground, you know, some understanding they can come to, but they're fighting regardless, right? Chihiro is gonna show Samura his answer via the battle. I enjoy it. That's typical shonen BS. You know, I'm all for it. And we get one of the coolest things I think I've seen in a fight before. Personally, you know, I've read a lot of shonen. I've read a lot of battle manga, etc. And I don't think I've ever seen a fight start with the character kicking another character into a hotel room and then closing the door. I thought that was so freaking cool, especially how the author kind of zooms into the peephole and you see Samura just gearing up his EI style. Dude, I thought that was kind of epic. And at first, I thought he did it just for aura points. And that's because I forgot that Samura was blind. You know, Samura moves so well that I sometimes legitimately forget that he's freaking blind. And it's like, wait, he's closing the door because it doesn't disadvantage him, right? And then that's shown because right when Chihiro gulps, Samura attacks. Dude, that was so freaking cool. But yes, this fight is interesting because I don't exactly know how it's going to end, right? Personally, I don't think they have to fight at all, right? Chihiro just wants to talk to Samura, saying, hey, Samura, I'm sure there's a way to save you too. You know, I'm sure we could find some sort of middle ground, but Samura doesn't want to hear it. And I don't blame him. I think it makes sense as to why Samura doesn't want to mince words. The reason why he doesn't want to find some sort of understanding with Chihiro, and that's because Samura's been thinking about this pretty much his entire life. Ever since the war ended, Samura's been looking for a way out, and this was the one and only answer that he came up with. You know, the answer of severing the contract by, quote, killing the other swordsman. I thought that was awesome, and I think it does fit his character very well. And that is one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. You know, I would get it if Samura simply wanted to kill the master swordsman. I believe people call him the sword saint, right? If he wanted to kill just him, sure, fine, dandy. We don't really know much about him. He could be a good guy. He could be a bad guy. You know, people hate it when I say that, but, you know, we don't know his story yet. We don't know why he did what he did. But I was like, okay, like that's a gray one, sure. But killing characters like Uruha and then the other swordsman who we haven't met yet, that rubbed me the wrong way. Because Uruha really did look up to Samura, right? They are good friends, they're companions, they're comrades. So I was like, yo, is Samura really going around just murdering these dudes? Like, it just felt weird. But here, we get the reveal that Samura is simply killing them, but also bringing them back to life at the same time. He's killing the hero version of them, the version that fought in the Seitei War. So I thought that was awesome. But of course, with this, though, there is one nasty drawback, and that is that he cannot revive himself. And again, thinking back to the talking that Chihiro and Samura could go through, there is a chance that Chihiro could copy the Phoenix ability and simply bring him back to life by severing his contract. But while that may sound good on paper, I don't know if that's exactly a valid route. For a couple of different reasons. One, Chihiro didn't even know that Samura's blade could do this ability, right? Being able to kill somebody and bring them back to life without the contract. Chihiro did not know that the sword could evolve that way. And not just that, but it took years for Samura to learn this ability. If Chihiro comes in and replicates it overnight, that would be a little bit absurd. And of course, the main reason why Chihiro would be doing this is to simply save Samura. So it's like, okay, are we really going to go that far to save one character? Don't get me wrong, I love Samura, but I still feel like he is a character that is going to die. Dude, the amount of death flags on that man is absurd. I would be genuinely shocked if he survives through this arc. Like, I can't see it, man. As far as the Chihiro fight, I think what might happen is that Samura might just straight out kill Chihiro. I could see him killing Chihiro and then bringing him back to life, which would put Chihiro in the same boat as Uruha. I think it would be really interesting if Chihiro did not have his enchanted blade contracted to him anymore. I know, people are probably mad at that suggestion, but Chihiro has been trying to learn swordsmanship in the past couple of arcs, right? Well, past couple of arcs, there's only like 3 arcs, but Chihiro's been trying to learn true and blue swordsmanship. So I think the best way for him to do that would be if we separated him from his enchanted blade for a little bit. I'm not saying he has to lose it forever, but just for a little bit. I think it could be beneficial. And then, obviously we could go back and get the blade and etc. And that would be pretty cool. And I think that would also force a mini time skip, which I think, might kind of be needed after what's happening. Or at least it could be kind of cool, right? With the Hishaku attacking the Kamunabi HQ, the fallout from that event alone will be absurd. So right now, I'm kind of just imagining the Hishaku winning, beating Kamunabi HQ, getting the Master Swordsman out of there, and then blip, the author does a little time skip, and then we pick up the pieces and everything is just, out of whack. So now, one last thing I want to talk about in regards to the latest chapter would be, I'm trying to think. I guess it would be Hirohiko. Hirohiko is still contracted to his blade. Even though Ro hasn't, it is still contracted right now. And I just don't know what Hirohiko is going to do. I mean, obviously they retreated. They left a couple chapters back. But will he come after Ro for the blade? I'm not exactly too sure. I think it's just best if he leaves at this point. Like, it would be odd if he just came back for like a 3rd time. So yeah, I think Hirohiko's done for this arc. As far as Uruha being alive, I am really happy about that. I loved Uruha when he was first introduced, and it kind of broke my heart when he left just as quickly, right? He showed up, we hopped on the train, we made it to the temple, Uruha's dead, right? I was like, oh, damn it, dude, he was such a cool character, man. But he's back. We do learn that obviously it is not another impersonator at Kamunabi HQ. And now, going over to Kamunabi HQ, because I do want to talk about that a little bit, right? I feel like that is where we primarily spent our time. I think the HQ is set up to lose. I kind of talked about that earlier, but I truly do believe that there is no way the Kamunabi will be successful when it comes to protecting the sword masters, protecting the blades, and everything they got. I think they're cooked through and through. I mean, you got people literally killing themselves and becoming straight up tree bombs. Like, they do not stand a chance. They didn't expect the hostage angle to actually come to play. And not just that, right? I always keep on saying this because it is true, but there is a Kamunabi leader who is working for the other team, right? I do think that, we do have a high quality trader in our midst, and we do not know who it is yet. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was the guy with the sideburns and the white hair who was walking into the intel room, because I was like, wait a minute, why is he coming in here? What's going on here? He's gonna kill the intel people, but that didn't happen. So yes, the trader is still just up and walking around. We also have Azami fighting this guy in samurai armor, and that fight, brother, it is raging on. We saw Azami show out against those 2 random mercenaries, right? They kind of had an aura going in there because, everybody's pissing their pants looking at them. And then here comes Azami just straight up, boom, boom, they're done. And I was like, whoa, that's epic. And then, now, Azami has to deal with the Hishaku, the guy in the samurai armor. And guess what? you hear multiple blows coming from above, right? When we get Hakuri's POV, you hear boom, 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 boom. It's like you got the Costco guys up there. It's crazy. And it's like, yo, like whoever Azami is fighting, he is no joke. The main Hishaku are actually that powerful. So yeah, something is amidst here, and that's just one of them too, right? We got to keep that in mind. That is just one of the Hishaku. And Azami's a prodigy, right? Azami's like among the top brass of, you know, fighters here. So if this Hishaku is giving Azami that much trouble, I mean, you know, the minute the other Hishaku show up, I think Kamunabi HQ is absolutely cooked. And I can already hear it now. You know, some people are going to be saying, Sai, but Kamunabi HQ, you know, they still have so many people we haven't seen fight yet. And I agree with you, but, you know, looking at it from a different perspective, the Hishaku have been around for a while now, right? They've been in the shadows, plotting and waiting. The fact that they're attacking right now must mean that they have the highest chance of success. So I do think the Hishaku are going to take the cake. And like I said, the traitor is still out there, man. At any point in time, boom, you know, somebody's going to come up from behind and pull a Zetsu. And, you know, for all we know, Azami could be the traitor, right? Maybe all those blows we hear upstairs, maybe he's role-playing, you know, maybe he's role-playing. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. And one thing I thought that was kind of funny was that Kudo. What was that his name? Kudo? The one upper Kamunabi guy that had like the mask. I thought it was really cool. But that guy, dude, he got cooked off screen. And I gotta admit, but that is something I just was not expecting. You're telling me Kudo got cooked off screen? Brother, what? You know, I was expecting a lot from him, but of course he did say apparently that he was not a fighter, so, you know, fair that it happened to him. Also, kind of crazy that we just got a random reveal to one of the Hishaku powers, right? The guy's just impersonating Mr. Kudo. And then not just that, but like there's this other girl who I don't know exactly what she's doing. It's like the girl who has like the dual knives and she's like this. It looks like she's about to start sprinting at somebody. I think that might just be her ability, right? Super speed. But yeah, you know, we got these two Hishaku now versus Hakuri and Uruha. And I'm gonna admit it, man, but Uruha's looking really good, dude. He's coming in, blocking attacks. He doesn't even have his enchanted blade anymore. He's just using EI White Purity style, and I'm excited. As far as what the Kamunabi HQ wants to protect, right? Because they were talking about that a couple of chapters back when I took my Kagurabachi break. But I do think the last thing they were going to mention was simply Hakuri. I think Hakuri's power is so pivotal. You know, when it comes to like securing the blades and transporting things from one dimension to another, I think he is something that the Hishaku genuinely want. And I think that's even why they impersonated Mr. Kudo and they tried to attack him. It's not because, you know, Hakuri was at the wrong place, wrong time. I think they simply just want to capture him. I think it is straightforward as that. But let me see here. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to. You know, just a lot of Hishaku hype, essentially. Dude, I love those guys, man. But with that being said, though, guys, let me know what you thought about these last couple of chapters down below. Again, if I got anything wrong at all, please, please, please correct me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next week when the next chapter of Kagurabachi comes out. And I will get more, like, precise, right? This video was me going over, like, 3 or 4 chapters. But obviously, when the next chapter comes out, we'll just talk about the next chapter, chapter 83. But yeah, catch you guys later. Stay safe and peace out.